A pretty high influx of immigrants and refugees in Oregon started in about 1980. The country passed a law that allowed refugees to come into the United States, and Oregon became one of the hubs which welcomed refugees.
I was born in Phnom Penh, Cambodia.
Here in Portland? In Bergen, Norway.
In Poland.
In Vietnam.
Bangkok.
Guatemala.
Denmark.
Washington, D.C.
Eugene.
From Burma.
Austin, Texas.
Somalia. Vietnam.
I am from Venezuela.
What I miss most about my country after being there several times is just the freedom.
Growing up around Austin, I know where everything's at. I know like all the fun things to do, and here it's like I'm still new.
There's a different pace. People are also very warm, amorous, more subjective, more reactionary, like I said, but with that also comes a lot of passion, a lot of love, and a lot of warmth.
I miss my family. I miss my grandparents.
I lost my father during the Khmer Rouge time. He was executed, so being back there and visiting those memorial center kind of makes me connect to him, a past that I never experienced.
My neighborhood was full of Italians from Sicily that escaped there. They all were a great neighborhood too, you know. You could always stop at any house and like have dinner, and they don't, you know, oh, that's Pablo from around the corner, you know, come here. That kind of experience you wouldn't get here, you know. And that's what I miss, because over here I can knock on a door, get out of here, I'm gonna call the cops. And over there, do you need help? What's going on, you know? So that's what I miss.
Why am I interested in immigration?
Portland has a lot of different cultures in it. It's a lot of cultures put together.
I've lived in many different cultures in 4 different countries, so I thought it would be nice to kind of expand that into a movie.
I fell in love with studying the history of Russia and Germany and pretty much every nation you can think of in Europe. So I was very fascinated with immigration from Europe into America.
What got me interested in is because I wanted to learn about my culture of Guatemala and like other cultures from people that have been brought to America from their culture, and it just seemed really interesting.
A lot of refugees came from Southeast Asia, countries like Vietnam, Laos, also China, and they came because of all the conflicts that were going on in Southeast Asia.
I had no clue that I was coming to the U.S. It's kind of, my mom made the decision. Cambodia went through 4 years of genocide and Holocaust. So when I was about 7 or 6, my mother got remarried, and she didn't want me to go through the atrocity that we went through. So we had to escape Cambodia by train, bicycle, walk across the country and into the Thai refugee camp. She made a really difficult decision to have her only child come to the U.S. So.
I'm more Americanized, and I don't, you know, in my religion and culture we have to like cover up and wear long dresses, and then the Somali community here, they talk to my mom all the time, and they're like, why are you letting your daughter dress like this? Like, oh, and they look at me like as if I'm the bad one. So it's like really hard trying to be between 2 different cultures and trying to balance it out, and it's frustrating because it's like, okay, that does not make me a bad person.
I grew up in a very conservative family, and I don't know, I always been shy back then when I was little. I don't really want to stand up and say what I want or think. But when I come here and I see how people act over here, it's more open, and I really like the culture over here. You know, you speak what you think. In Thailand, I would say that people, you know, say less of what they think.
We're always reminded every day of our background, our culture. Like she said, we do it through food sharing, and humor and laughter.
Some Norwegian foods we have quite regularly at our house, and I also try to
to emphasize to my family, you know, the sort of the Norwegian cultural aspect of being a little less competitive and more kind of competing against yourself and your inclinations to be a little bit lazy sometimes, instead of competing against everybody else.
You come into this very objective, strict mathematical language that sets up a huge system of thinking. And when you come in from a very open system where it's more fluid, there's more subjectivity to things, less objective, and we're less contracts and we're more word of mouth, and we're say, you know, yeah, I'll do that for you. And then you do it and then you get in trouble because there was nothing signed. The mind setting is conflicting with how things work here.
When I was growing up here, I really felt out of place. I didn't belong. I always felt really isolated because I lived in an area where there weren't a lot of other Vietnamese. So it was always being one in a whole classroom. And so I thought, oh, I'll go back to Vietnam where my people are and where my home is. But I was really surprised when I got back there and I realized how American I was. I really felt like my home was America and the melting pot of America.
Immigrants and refugees make up about 10% of Oregon's population today. By immigrants, I mean the foreign-born. Today, immigrants still make up a small percent of our state.
I think that coming from a different place, you have been implanted in your brain that the grass is greener on the other side of something.
I grew up in Thailand, and I always think that being in US is kind of like a paradise. You don't have to do anything, but you know, you can be comfortable. Where actually, you know, it's pretty much the same everywhere. You have to work hard for something that you want, but except that US has more opportunity than like, you know, Thailand or like some third world country.
And it's always come down now. It's proven over and over again that sure, it's a great place to have a drive and a will, and if you have a focus, you can really make it come true. But as far as like experiencing personal struggle, that will never end no matter where you're at. Has it fulfilled anything of my expectations? It has given me the freedom to have expectations of myself and come up with a few more, yeah.